So this is a continuation of the Monkey Island storyline for those who want to get up to speed before the release of the Monkey Island crossover coming on July 20th. Now it's worth noting that the art style has very much changed in this chapter of Monkey Island, but the story still stays the same. Please check out my Monkey Island story playlist on my channel page for the previous episodes. Sometime after the strange happenings in LeChuck's revenge, Guybrush finds himself afloat in a detached bumper car in the ocean. Unsure of how he ended up there, Guybrush writes a log of his previous adventures before being interrupted by the sounds of battle. Guybrush drifts to a battle between a ship and a fort. On the ship is his infamous rival, LeChuck, and on the fort is his crush, Governor Elaine Marley. It seems the battle started over the romantic advances LeChuck gave to Elaine, but Elaine reveals that Guybrush is the only man she has ever loved. Without knowing, Guybrush heard the whole thing whilst drifting by. LeChuck then spots Guybrush and fishes him out of the water. LeChuck is confused as to how Guybrush escaped the spell he put him under, and without hesitation throws him below deck whilst he prepares his ultimate weapon, the flaming cannon voodoo ball. Whilst below deck, Guybrush finds a tiny pirate, who is revealed to be the cartographer that helped him find the ultimate treasure of Monkey Island. Guybrush convinces him that he's not cut out to be a pirate, and the poor little fella drops to the ground in an emotional wreck. Guybrush takes the cannon and begins taking out LeChuck's forces. One of the skulls from the skeletons, however, survives and introduces himself as Murray, claiming to be a fearful, power-mighty demonic skull. Guybrush then donks him on the crown, which causes him to sink, and simply moves on. Guybrush then cuts the restraints on the cannon and fires it, causing it to blast him through the locked door behind him, causing LeChuck to drop the voodoo cannonball, which explodes into a skull-shaped cloud. LeChuck's ship sinks, leaving what remains of his spirit within his boots. Within the submerged treasure hold, Guybrush finds a diamond ring, which he uses to cut a hole to escape from the wreck. On shore, he then uses this diamond ring to propose to Elaine. She accepts, and then the cartographer arrives and notes that the ring Elaine has looks very similar to a ring LeChuck stole that is cursed. Elaine realizes what Guybrush has done, and right before giving him a smack in the face, the curse takes hold, turning Elaine into solid gold. Guybrush begins looking for a cure for this curse on the strange new island called Plunder Island, not the same one as Sea of Thieves. His search uncovers another international mojo shop, where he meets Murray again, who has been used as a decoration for the sign outside. Inside the store, he meets the strange voodoo lady once again, who agrees to help Guybrush lift the curse, but asks first to take Elaine out of sight on the shoreline from greedy pirate onlookers. Guybrush realizes his mistake and rushes back to the beach, only to discover she has already been stolen, and a pirate ship is sailing away into the distance. Guybrush returns to the voodoo lady, who suspects the pirates to be docked in a nearby danger cove. The voodoo lady then reveals in order to lift the curse, he must replace the cursed ring with one of equal or greater value, which he might find on Blood Island. Meanwhile, somewhere at sea, LeChuck's boots are fished up by a passing ship, and he is once again reborn. But this time, thanks to the cursed voodoo cannonball's magic, he is reborn as a fiery demon with the power to transform the crew of his saviors into skeleton minions, before setting sail to his stronghold on Monkey Island, where he will unleash his massive army of the undead. Guybrush then begins the journey to Blood Island. For this, he'll need a map to find it, a ship to get there, and a crew to man it. Disguising himself as a mythical creature and smuggling himself onto the ship that stole his golden fiancée, he convinces the rather, interesting crew to leave the ship behind, which in turn gives him the ship, and also his golden fiancée, who he sticks in the crow's nest for safekeeping. Well, at least it's not Boonkeg. He then impresses 3 ex-pirates who are dabbling in the hair salon profession to join his crew. Finally, he finds the map on the back of a very sunburnt person, which he is able to peel off his back. Ugh. With this map, his crew and his ship, Guybrush then sets sail to Blood Island. On his travels, however, the ship is boarded by Captain Rottingham, who steals the map by winning a competition of a on the seas variation of insult sword fighting, where every insult has to rhyme. To learn this new form of martial art, Guybrush sails the seas and engages in sword fighting to increase his repertoire of rhyming insults, whilst upgrading his ship's battle capability. Eventually, Guybrush is strong enough to challenge Sir Rottingham once again, winning back the map and sailing to Blood Island. The ship, however, hits a storm on the way and runs aground on Blood Island, damaging the ship and flinging Elaine from the crow's nest to the nearby woods. After making sure Elaine is okay and not broken, Guybrush begins to look for the ring to lift her curse. After learning of a precious ring that was lost on the island, Guybrush meets with various old friends across Blood Island and eventually finds the stone and the band, which he combines, placing it on Elaine's finger, which returns her to a normal form, and finally receiving that punch she tried to hit him with when this all started. Their reunion is cut short, however, when they're ambushed by LeChuck's massive army of the undead. Guybrush then finds himself on Monkey Island, captured by the now demonic LeChuck, inside LeChuck's aptly named Carnival of the Damned. LeChuck then reveals this is the same place LeChuck held Guybrush prisoner, fooling him into thinking he was a child. He then also reveals that he means to give Elaine the fabled treasure of Big Whoop, which is actually a portal to hell. He plans for Elaine to go through this portal and be transformed into an immortal being, just like he once did. LeChuck then places a spell on Guybrush once again to make him a child before leaving with Elaine. Guybrush, now a child, assembles a concoction to get his head clear, with no help from Murray, transforming him back into a fully grown man. He then discovers a roller coaster to hell? I really hope we get this in Sea of Thieves, which takes him across several dioramas explaining the history of Monkey Island, and eventually finds LeChuck within an Arctic area, I soon confirmed, where he tricks LeChuck into detonating a cache of explosives, burying LeChuck beneath meters of snow, which creates another skull-shaped cloud. Huh. Guybrush and Elaine, now free from the advances of LeChuck and his army, sail off into the sunset to enjoy their honeymoon with a banner on the back of their ship stating, "Just married." But what happens next? Well, although there are other games that came out after this one, this is where the story ends but also begins for the crossover for Sea of Thieves. We'll have to wait until June 20th to see what happens to Guybrush, Elaine, and LeChuck. But maybe this trio won't be the only faces that return. You'll just have to wait and see. But until then, please remember to flip that what's it, schmack that doodle, and tickle that fling flang. Happy sailing, and I'll see you all very soon.